Part 22. Tokyo's Most Affectionate. Author, Wodada Shuchu Wujin. Chapter 213. Tuesday, August 2nd, is the final exam for the economics subject. In fact, except for a few special subjects, the final exam time for most subjects is the same. As the exam approaches, the atmosphere at Dongda is very serious and solemn. After Hikaru Kurosawa arrived at the school, the exam began soon. Although he has been busy with various things during this period, and even ran out to work last night, in fact, except for weekends, Kurosawa Hikaru was studying seriously every day at school. Even though he did not review or prepare for the exam, he was still confident when facing this exam. University exams are different from those in elementary school, junior high school, and high school. Because university exams are not just closed-book exams, the final exams for required courses usually consist of three main parts: attendance, daily grades, final exams, and essays. In fact, for such exams, as long as you can grasp the key content that the teacher usually teaches in class, there will usually be no problems. The exam in the morning was very easy. There was only one subject. After the exam, it was lunch break. My performance is so poor. In the central cafeteria, Yuta Miyazaki was holding a tray and lunch, feeling very frustrated. Why? There shouldn't be many difficulties in the first subject, right? Kurosawa Hikaru was in high spirits because he felt that he performed well, which made him very happy. From this point of view, even if he doesn't have to memorize books every day, he can still get very good results in the exam. Do you think what you are saying is human? Of course, those questions are not difficult for you, but they are very difficult for me, and I didn't sleep well last night, so I feel dizzy. Miyazaki Yuta gave him a speechless look, then walked to an empty space and sat down. You know you have an exam but you haven't slept well, what are you doing? Kurosawa Hikaru didn't understand. In fact, he also saw Yuta Miyazaki at the Grand Concert Hall of the Tokyo Bunkakaikan last night. However, the performance ends at 9 p.m. As long as this guy goes home and sleeps normally, logically speaking, he has plenty of time. I can't help it. I wanted to go to bed early last night, but I had insomnia and chatted with netizens until 2 o'clock. Deserved it? Realizing that he was still surfing the internet after returning home, Kurosawa was even more speechless than him. Although it doesn't matter as long as you don't fail the final exam, you still have to face it well. Kurosawa, let me tell you, if you didn't go to the 0-hour performance last night, it will definitely be a decision you will regret for the rest of your life. Although he was scolded by him, Miyazaki Yuta didn't care very much. Instead, he said extremely excitedly, if you fail the exam, you will regret it for the rest of your life. Although I didn't perform well, I won't fail the exam. Compared to this, do you know how great Master 0-hour was last night? He is really the #1 pianist in Neon, and his skills, I think about it now, it's all a numbskull. Yuta Miyazaki was not very worried about this, and immediately said with great excitement, As for, do you know Liszt's The Bell? Have no idea. Kurosawa thought for a while, and in order to stop him from bringing up this topic, he simply pretended not to understand. Forget it, watch this video. Seeing that he didn't know at all, Yuta Miyazaki thought for a moment and immediately took out his mobile phone. Then, with some skillful operation, he opened a video. This is not the video and replay of the competition, but a separately edited version. Seeing how enthusiastic he was, Kurosawa Hikaru, even though he didn't really want to watch it, he still cooperated and watched the video. Putting the phone in front of him and starting to play, Yuta Miyazaki sat next to him, not even eating, watching the video eagerly, and checking Kurosawa Hikaru's reaction from time to time. Sensing his crazy way, Kurosawa Hikaru also looked seriously. When others recommend anime, videos, and movies to you, they treat you as a good friend and want to share their favorite things with you. This enthusiasm cannot be neglected. Wow! I watched it like this for a while, and when it came to the climax, Kurosawa's acting skills exploded, and his eyes suddenly widened. Seeing this scene, Miyazaki Yuda suddenly smiled. Lists the bell, the final climax, indeed no one can resist its charm. This section is a dual enjoyment of sight and hearing, which is even more enjoyable than watching a movie. How about it? After the video was played, Yuda Miyazaki couldn't wait to ask. So strong, is he still human? Kurosawa Hikaru was amazed and very satisfied in his heart. Judging from this, his performance last night was quite good. It is a pity that the piano he used to perform at that time was a Kawai instead of a Steinway, otherwise the effect would have been better. He is not a human, he is a god. Do you know what everyone calls him now? The god of piano. Seeing his reaction, Yuda Miyazaki was even more excited and happy than being admitted to Tokyo University. So exaggerated. Kurosawa Hikaru was a little scared, his fans were becoming more and more fanatical. Before, he was just Neon's #1 pianist, but now he has become a piano god. It's so exaggerated. Let me tell you, the effect on the spot is at least 10 times better than the video. If I had known I wouldn't have been at home studying for the exam last night, I would have gone with you. Hey, I also played other piano music, do you want to listen? Of course Kurosawa Hikaru cooperated. This time, however, he no longer stared at it motionlessly, but ate while watching. After all, the lunch break was limited. They watched 2 more videos, and Miyazaki Yuda's excitement subsided. Come to think of it, I haven't seen Junior Sister Miki in the central cafeteria. When lunch was almost finished, Kurosawa Hikaru suddenly remembered something and pretended to say it casually. Kurosawa, are you finally going to take action against Junior Sister Miki? The speaker was unintentional, but the listener was intentional. When Miyazaki Yuda heard this, his attention immediately returned to reality from Master Zero Time, and he looked at him deeply. What nonsense are you talking about? I just suddenly remembered this. Kurosawa Hikaru was speechless when he heard this, and glared at him. Hee, I heard that Junior Sister Miki always brings lunch boxes from home to school, and she usually eats in the classroom. Although he pretended to be angry, Miyazaki Yuda did not expose his concern for Junior Sister Miki, but said, I see. After learning the reason, Kurosawa Hikaru thought about it and understood it. Maybe the central cafeteria of the University of Tokyo has a wide variety of dishes and is very affordable, but if you have prepared lunch boxes at home, there is really no need to come to the cafeteria. There is another saying that she came to the central cafeteria once before, but was surrounded by seniors from various disciplines. She was afraid of strangers and was directly scared. Since then, she has never come to the cafeteria again. Then, Miyazaki Yuda added. Is she afraid of strangers? Kurosawa Hikaru was a little surprised to hear this. In his impression, although Junior Sister Miki is not a social bull, she is definitely not a social phobic. She is a typical good girl. If the news I heard is correct, she should be quite afraid of strangers, or she is just arrogant and doesn't like to get along with people. Is it all heard? Kurosawa Hikaru always feels that his news is unreliable. According to his impression, Junior Sister Miki's soft personality is definitely not related to arrogance. It must be hearsay, because Junior Sister Miki is always alone, doesn't like to talk, and doesn't have many friends, so no one knows much about her. Faced with his doubts, Miyazaki Yuda shrugged and admitted frankly. Do you know anything else? For example, what are her hobbies? Hearing about Miki Bayu from others, Kurosawa Hikaru felt a little fresh and curious. Have you broken up with that rich woman? Miyazaki Yuda did not answer, but looked at him in surprise and asked back. No, I'm just a little curious about her. Kurosawa Hikaru shook his head. It's not time to clarify the gossip yet. Pure curiosity. Pure curiosity. As for hobbies, it might be reading. It is said that she is basically reading in school. And she seems to be practicing figure skating. It is said that her level is quite high and she has won awards before. Although he was very suspicious of his purpose, Miyazaki Yuta was not afraid to say it. After all, junior sister Miki is a school beauty, and you can find out the rumors and news about her by asking more. Do you have her line? Compared to these things, Kurosawa Hikaru actually cares about one thing in particular, that is, whether she returned home safely last night. He confirmed the safety of Yuki, Ninomiya, and Runa last night, but the only thing missing was Miki-chan, which made him sleep uneasy and regret why he didn't ask for a contact method. What do you think? In response to this question, Miyazaki Yuta looked at him dimly. It seems that there is no. Kurosawa Hikaru felt that he asked the wrong person and shrugged. Tokyo University, Faculty of Literature classroom. What a pity. If I had known that Master Zero Time was so powerful, I would not have prepared for the exam at home last night, but went to watch the performance. As the lunch break was halfway through, Toyokawa Komi from the art club had lunch with her classmates in the cafeteria and returned to the classroom together, sighing. I didn't go either, I just watched the live broadcast. It's really a pity. Why did it happen last night? It would have been better if it was a few days later. Others also agreed with this. Last night, 0 Hour's performance at the Tokyo Bunkakaikan became a legend overnight, and the entire network was forwarding and discussing it crazily. Japanese people have a nature, which is to worship the strong, and 0 Hour's lists the bell fully demonstrated his strength. The most important thing is that everyone feels that a piano master has appeared in Japan, which makes them extremely proud. Fortunately I went. Listening to such discussions, Miki Bayu, who was reviewing and preparing for the exam, sat in her seat, moved her ears slightly, glanced, and felt a little happy in her heart. Not only did she go to see the performance last night, but she also ran into Master 0 Hour after the performance, and even discovered the true face under the mask, that is Senior Kurosawa. Everyone come and see. Senior Kurosawa from the economics department came to the literature department for some reason. At this moment, a girl suddenly ran into the classroom with great excitement, called out, and led everyone to watch the excitement. As soon as this was said, the group of people in Toyokawa Kame, who were still regretting that they could not see the live performance, all pricked up their ears and were attracted. Is Senior Kurosawa here? Miki Shiraha, who was studying hard for the exam, was also surprised when he heard the news. Under normal circumstances, the various disciplines are separated. If they don't deliberately move around, there won't be much contact. Why did he come to the literature department? Is he here to see me? Then, Miki Shiraha thought of this possibility, and his heartbeat accelerated a little. What does Senior Kurosawa want to do by coming to the literature department? The third and fourth updates are here, which are extra updates for 3,000 and 3,300 monthly tickets respectively. Thank you for your support. I also recommend a book Tokyo, this role-playing game is not right. Tokyo's Most Affectionate. Author, Wodada Shuchu Wujin. Chapter 214. Mitsuru Kurosawa, who is studying economics, is a well-known figure in Tokyo University. Because he has a handsome face, clear outlines, a good body proportion, and a pair of particularly beautiful eyes. The most important thing is his temperament, gentle and sunny. Maybe he is dressed simply, but the feeling he gives people is particularly clean and handsome. That's why all the juniors and seniors in any subject are obsessed with him and have a secret crush on him. The reason why he is completely famous in the school is that it has been rumored since 2 weeks that Senior Kurosawa has a girlfriend, and she is a rich girlfriend who drives a luxury car. Some people went to the school gate to see him. His rich girlfriend is also very beautiful, fashionable, and mature. Komi Toyokawa has had contact with him, so she is more interested in his affairs than ordinary juniors. It's Senior Kurosawa. Komi Toyokawa stood at the door of the classroom and looked out. She saw a person walking up from the corner of the stairs in the distance. Senior Kurosawa is so handsome. Seeing this scene, a junior was fascinated. As the classmates got restless, Mickey Bio sat there, holding the pen tightly with his fingers, holding the book with one hand, and was very entangled. Should he get up and look? Senior Kurosawa is very handsome, this is beyond doubt. He is not only handsome in appearance, but also in temperament, deeds, and even behavior. This classroom has two doors, the front door and the back door. There is no window in the middle, and the front door is blocked. He is coming. Soon, everyone dispersed again and returned to the classroom. Not long after, a figure came to the front door of the classroom. Everyone looked over. Although it was not unusual for students from other subjects to visit, it was rare for seniors from other subjects, and such handsome guys, to come on a day like exam week. Kurosawa Mitsuru was holding a textbook in his hand, walking with his head down. When he came to the door, he stopped and looked up at the younger students in the classroom. As his eyes swept around, everyone was silent. This situation was like a teacher coming. Just as everyone was waiting for the end of the music, Kurosawa Hikaru's expression suddenly changed. He took a step back, and looked up at the door plate next to the classroom door. Kurosawa Sr., what's wrong with you? Seeing this reaction, Toyokawa Komi had talked to him and asked in a familiar manner. Toyokawa-san, you are here, which means this is the Department of Literature. Hearing this question, Kurosawa Hikaru looked into the classroom and saw Toyokawa Komi, and was a little surprised. This is the Department of Literature, Kurosawa Sr., are you lost? Toyokawa Komi responded to this question subconsciously, and then thought of a possibility. It should be like this. Kurosawa Hikaru was a little embarrassed and raised the textbook in his hand. No way, Kurosawa Sr., you are a top student at the University of Tokyo, so smart, you will get lost. Toyokawa Komi saw his embarrassed look and didn't believe that he would get lost at all, and smiled suspiciously. You know, the Department of Literature and the Department of Economics are not the same major, how can it be so easy to get lost? This senior must have a plan to come here. Can't Tokyo University students get lost? Kurosawa Hikaru responded calmly to this question. Not that I can't. As soon as this was said, Toyokawa Komi was speechless. Sorry to bother you, everyone has to take an exam today, come on. Insisting that he was lost, Kurosawa Hikaru looked at the more than 20 juniors in the classroom and smiled. After saying that, he was not embarrassed. He looked up at the door plate again, looked around and left. As he left, this short episode also made everyone feel interesting. Toyokawa, are you familiar with Senior Kurosawa? The girls who were more familiar with Toyokawa Komi were surprised when they thought of the interaction just now. Is he coming to see you? Another girl deliberately teased. How is it possible? Toyokawa Komi was speechless when she heard such a teasing. She would never believe that Senior Kurosawa came to see her specially, even if she was beaten to death. He said he was lost, but I don't believe it. He definitely came to the literature department for another purpose, such as to see you. Because of the coincidence just now and they just happened to know each other, a boy also interrupted. Compared to other subjects, the number of men and women in the literature department is relatively equal, and there are even more girls. What nonsense are you talking about? Do you think he might come to see Miki-san? Toyokawa Komi rolled her eyes, and then thought of a possibility, turning her head to look at the beauty on the side of the classroom. I thought so at first, but he didn't look at Miki-san for the whole time, and didn't you say before? Senior Kurosawa's girlfriend is prettier than Miki-san. The female classmate who was familiar with her shook her head and denied the statement. Normal thinking, Senior Kurosawa made a special trip for a girl. Miki-san is so beautiful, she is definitely the first choice. But with this guess, she kept a close eye on him the whole time. When Senior Kurosawa saw Miki-san, he looked at her just like he saw other people, and his eyes didn't even stay for a second. In contrast, Kurosawa-senpai's eyes were focused on Toyokawa Komi most of the time. Her girlfriend is so beautiful, so there is no need to come see me. Indeed. Could it be that Kurosawa-senpai is really lost? It's not the same as getting lost, he was probably seriously reviewing a book and accidentally went to the wrong place. After some conversation, everyone began to believe that they were lost because they could not find the suspicious target. During this process, Miki-Bayu never moved, and he just read when he needed to. However, her attention was not on the book at all, and her mind was very active. How could he be lost? But what is he here for? Just to see me? Or is it because there are too many people that he can't talk to me? And is Kurosawa-senpai's girlfriend really that beautiful? She's prettier than me, how beautiful is that? She has only met Kurosawa-senpai 3 times so far. The first time was in the photography shop, the second time was last night, and the third time was just now. These 3 times, although they were not alone meetings, Kurosawa-senpai was acting alone. Because Todai students pay more attention to personal privacy, there have been rumors in the school that Kurosawa-senpai has a girlfriend and she is often picked up after school, but there are no photos or anything like that. I wonder what kind of person he is to be liked by Kurosawa-senpai. After all, does he really have a girlfriend? Even if a beautiful woman comes to pick him up after school, it may not be his girlfriend. After all, he is only a pianist, and the beautiful girlfriend in the rumors maybe it's his colleague. The more he thought about it, the more doubts grew in Miki-Bayu's heart. At the same time, Kurosawa Hikaru held the closed textbook in his hand and walked out of the literature department openly. The Department of Liberal Arts and the Department of Economics both belong to the liberal arts, but the difference is between liberal arts category 2 and liberal arts category 3. To put it bluntly, the reason for getting lost is not too outrageous. If you get lost from liberal arts to science, no one will believe you. Am I so famous in the Ministry of Culture? On the way back to the economics department, Kurosawa Hikaru couldn't help but feel a little frightened when he thought about what happened just now. He really didn't expect that his visit to the literature club would cause such a sensation, almost like a visit from a celebrity. I'm afraid even if the professor comes, the movement won't be that big. As for the reason why he came to the literature club, he simply wanted to see if Senior Miki came to school. He didn't have any special intentions, but he didn't watch Miki's schoolmate walk to the station or something like that last night, and watched her get on the bus, feeling worried. After all, it's not surprising that such a super beautiful girl can be targeted by gangsters at any time if she moves alone at night. He made a special trip and saw Miki sitting in the classroom. This incident completely changed his mind. No matter which country or school you are in, exams are something that you take very seriously. On such days, the school will strictly exclude all unexpected situations to ensure that students can complete the exam without any impact. Although Tokyo University has serious final exams, this is not the case in other places. Last night at the Tokyo Bunkakaikan, the Kawaii Piano Competition Youth Group Finals, the 0-hour performance, as the night progressed, and the day came, it directly set off the entire internet. Have you heard? Just last night, the god of piano was born. It is said that 0 hours piano skills rank among the top 3 in the world. All of a sudden, all kinds of comments came out one after another. However, most of the comments were compliments. Every neon person has a middle-class gene in his body, and he also has the instinct to worship the strong. A song called The Bell by Liszt, and what is even more terrifying is the astonishing and transcendent piano skills and performance. Anyone who has watched the playback, video, or edited version will be deeply shocked. Arrive. What's more, not only across the country, the name 0 Hour also spread to the other side of the ocean overnight. Because Twitter, the world's largest social software, has contributed to the situation, it has become famous in the piano world. If the world is an ocean, there will be countless waves every day and every night. The 0 Hour performance is undoubtedly one of the biggest waves in a day. Because this performance means the birth of a master who can arrange, play piano. What's even more frightening is that the 0 Hour performance is truly suitable for both refined and popular tastes. Lists the bell is elegant and elegant. Even those who have been immersed in piano for many years can't fault it. If you insist on finding faults, it can only be said that the kawaii piano is not good enough and cannot fully express the 0 Hour master level. This is what fans and defenders of Steinway pianos say. Of course, most pianists are very fond of Steinway. After all, Steinway pianos are not just a name that is blown away. The popular version has Adirina by the waterside. Romantic feelings exist in everyone's body, the difference is just more or less. Even people who don't know how to play piano will be amazed by this piano music when they hear it for the first time. This piano piece has the potential to become a world-famous piece. Recommend a friend's book. They all want me to become a demon and go into evil ways. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Tokyo's Most Affectionate. Author, Wodada Shuchu Wujin. Chapter 215. With the name 0 Hour, he became famous all over the country overnight, and even became famous overseas. His terrifying popularity and attention also attracted the attention of the industry, who on seeing firm, because of such a major event, held a board meeting again. Masked artists can actually work, we missed an opportunity to lead the industry. On the board of directors, as always, a female director was making weird and insidious remarks. It's not the masked artist who can do it, it's the 0 Hour master who is too powerful. Hamada Mia sneered at this and remained unmoved. She just adjusted her glasses and said coldly, "Do you think it's possible that this 0 Hour is Hikaru Kurosawa? He's the piano genius who was rejected by director Hamada. There is an essential difference between a piano genius and a piano master. Even though Hikaru Kurosawa is extremely talented, he definitely cannot be 0 Hour. But I have a little tidbit. Master 0 Hour's agent seems to be Runa Igarashi. He is the one who works hard and is extremely capable, but he is bullied and treated harshly by his superiors, and he becomes disheartened. The golden agent who left Phantom Star. Director Horikita, the focus of this board meeting is not on this matter, but on the feasibility and development direction of the masked artist route. The white-haired chairman saw them arguing again and interrupted. This is indeed a line. There are limits to people's appearance. The same is true for Ultramen, and the same is true for virtual anchors. Covering their appearance can distinguish them from ordinary people. And this image has nothing to do with age or time. And aging has high development value. When director Horikita heard this, he stopped criticizing and blaming him and said seriously, "You can't say that. The Ultraman you used as an example is a super IP that has been achieved by the environment of the times. As for the virtual anchor, although it has shown high value, it is far less than the direct display of real appearance, youth, and other elements. A real artist in front of the stage." Other directors also expressed their opinions on this statement. "Hamada, what do you think?" The chairman looked at Mia Hamada, because she had rejected Kurosawa Hikaru's statement that he wanted to be a masked artist, so her feelings and opinions would be richer. She is an example and cannot be used as a reference. His piano skills are among the top pianists in the world. No matter whether he is masked or not, he is still popular regardless of his appearance. Mia Hamada said firmly. She is good at musical instruments, so she knows very well how terrible Ling Shi's level is. People call him the #1 pianist in Neon, and even the god of piano in the 2nd grade, and they all deserve the title. Lists the bell is not the limit of 0 hour, he can still go further. That's not necessarily the case. What if he looks ugly? It just affects his ceiling. So didn't I just say that? There are limits to a person's appearance, but whether it is masked or virtual, these two images have no restrictions on appearance. It is no exaggeration to say that 0 hour's current image can do suitable for all ages. The avatar also has an upper limit. You only saw 0 hour's fire, but you didn't notice what made him famous. He relied on his superb piano. What if it was acting? What if it was singing? Masking would limit it. Of his two development paths, he only has two choices, dancing and pure musical instrument performance. Meetings like Huan Xing office also appear in various large and small offices in Neon. When a person succeeds, there will be countless imitators, rushing to follow, for fear of running too slow and not being able to drink a sip of soup. After finishing the exam, Kurosawa returned home and turned on the light. The ingredients he bought before were still in stock in the refrigerator, so he made them himself. To cook rice, he simply fried a pork chop donbari that was crispy on the outside and tender on the inside, spread it on the rice, poured a glass of ice water from the refrigerator, and sat at the dining table to eat alone. Even though the country is very lively and sensational, as the person involved, Kurosawa Hikaru is very leisurely. Not long after dinner was settled, Kurosawa Hikaru returned to the living room after washing the dishes. I always feel like something hasn't been done. Standing with his hands on his hips, Kurosawa Hikaru looked left and right. He always felt that something was not right, as if he had forgotten something important. Without thinking about it for a moment, he simply picked up the vacuum cleaner and started cleaning. By the way, I seem to have 3 drawers left. After doing the housework for a while, Kurosawa Hikaru, who was holding the mop, suddenly remembered something. After he finished playing Lists the Bell last night, he seemed to have accomplished an achievement, but he was still busy at the time, so he didn't have time to pay attention to it. It was so pushed out of his mind at the time that he almost forgot about it. If he remembered correctly, the achievement he completed this time was Unstoppable Charm, and the condition was to turn people who hated him into worshipping him, and the requirement was 10 times. Yes. Following his question, the system also spoke out in confirmation. Lottery draw. Realizing this, Kurosawa put the mop on the back of the sofa and sat down. As he sat down, a beam of golden light fell from the sky. Immediately afterwards, a half-meter-sized gasopon machine fell in front of him. The upper part of this gasopon machine has 4 layers, all of which are filled with sealed gasopon eggs. On the middle floor, there is an entrance for stuffing paper rolls. Do you want to start the lottery? With the appearance of the gasopon machine, the system's inquiry sounded. System, the first level is entry, the second level is proficiency, and the third level is the perfect level reward. Before the lottery began, Kurosawa Hikaru also asked. Unlike the initial contact with the system, it has been almost a month now. If you can learn more about the system, it is undoubtedly a good thing. Yes, the system affirmed. Then what is the reward for the 4th level? Superpower. Kurosawa Hikaru's eyes looked at the top level of the gasopon machine. The system reward does not include any superpowers. I think the perfect level archery skill is a superpower, otherwise Hawkeye would be considered an ordinary person? Not a superhero. The system was silent about this statement and did not want to respond. What is the reward for the 4th level? Kurosawa Hikaru saw that the system was silent, smiled and stopped arguing, and continued to ask. Combination set. Combination set. For example, all musical instruments, all dishes, global skills, all weapons, and so on. If you draw the rewards of the fourth level, such as all musical instruments, are they all perfect? Kurosawa Hikaru took a breath of cold air. The rewards of the fourth level are too terrifying, right? You know, any skill that reaches the perfect level has super terrifying power. Take the perfect archery skill as an example. As long as he is given a bow, he is even sure to shoot something hundreds of meters away and shoot it in the head with one arrow. Even if he puts aside the bow and arrow as a weapon, his body and arm strength, and even his eyesight, have been improved to a very strong level. Now, even if he doesn't turn on the lights at night, he can see a lot of things clearly. Although it is impossible to see the same as during the day, it is also very powerful. His eyes now are definitely not the eyes of ordinary people. For example, if he suddenly sees something very bright, his eyes will have adaptive adjustments to avoid being stabbed by the bright light. In addition, with the power given by the perfect archery skill, he can do many things. For example, before, he directly lifted up Sayakakai. A sharpshooter not only has accuracy, but also has arm and wrist strength to draw the bow. Not all perfect, but all instrument levels add 1. At this moment, the system interrupted his wild thoughts. I understand, but even so, it's still scary. However, Kurosawa Hikaru looked at the fourth floor of the Gasapon machine and was still very yearning. No matter what combination, all levels add 1 is a very powerful reward. Start the lottery, choose the number of times, 3 times. After learning about the rewards of the fourth floor, Kurosawa Hikaru also said decisively. As his voice fell, 3 paper coupons emerged out of thin air and entered the coin slot one after another. Click. Then, the handle next to the Gasapon machine was bent down without anyone touching it. The Gasapon machine started, and all the Gasapons on the 4 floors rolled. With a gurgling sound of rotation, the Gasapon machine stopped running. Congratulations to the host, this lottery won entry-level acting, entry-level magic, and mastery of computer programming. Then, the system prompt sounded. Because it was a permanent reward, as the lottery ended, a lot of knowledge came into his mind. Acting is the ability to create an image using various techniques and methods, which also includes expression management, body expression, even eye contact, and the body control of crying when crying. As for magic, it is a performing art that uses special props, cleverly integrated visual communication, that is, sleight of hand, and changes in perspective to create all kinds of incredible and lifelike effects. Computer, Kurosawa Hikaru claims to be able to play with computers, but it is limited to playing, not using. The so-called computer, commonly known as a computer, is an electronic computing machine used for high-speed calculations. It is the most advanced scientific and technological invention in recent years and has a wide range of applications. As for programming, any program is composed of codes, and programming is to write codes. Unlike the entry level, the master level brings a lot of knowledge to people. However, this time, Kurosawa Hikaru's body did not undergo any obvious changes. Although there is no difference on the surface, Kurosawa Hikaru has an intuition that his calculation ability and thinking speed have improved. In other words, his mind has become more flexible. It takes some time to accept these 3 rewards. It seems that the perfect level is not so easy to draw. After 10 minutes, Kurosawa Hikaru came back to his senses and saw that the Gasapon machine had disappeared. He also thought of the reward this time and couldn't help saying. The result is the same as the first time. Although the rewards are different, the level of the 3 draws is still 211. The perfect level is so difficult to draw, and the probability of the 4th level is probably even lower. Not bad. Although he realized this, Kurosawa Hikaru thought about it and felt relieved, not very entangled. Every reward of the system cannot be bought with money. Whether it is talent, knowledge, or experience, it is countless times more precious than money. Even if this ability seems to be quite unconventional and not suitable for most occasions, it is still a good experience as long as it can be used. 2 more are sent first, and there will be more at around 1 p.m. Please vote for the monthly ticket. In addition, according to the reader's suggestion, here is a summary of Aguang's current skills so that everyone can have a clearer concept. Perfect level, archery. Mastery level, musical instruments, piano, painting skills, computers, programming. Entry level, singing, swimming, surfing, parkour, cooking, Japanese and Western food, photography, driving, makeup, acting, magic, leg skills. Experience card, boxing, leg skills, parkour, that is, unfinished tasks, not yet permanent skills. Currently there are 2 tasks, a world for 2 with Shifunjayuan, and a task exclusive to perfect level skills, peak moment, archery skills. Tokyo's Most Affectionate. Author, Wodada Shuchu Wujin. Chapter 216. Having completely absorbed the new skills, Kurosawa Hikaru continued to do housework. If you are used to living alone, you have to do this kind of thing. After finishing the housework, Kurosawa Hikaru sat at his desk and tinkered with his laptop. It's not that he plays games. He basically hasn't played any games in his life. Oh. After some tinkering, Kurosawa was also surprised when something like a runtime library popped up on the computer screen. Although it is not as cool as the hackers in the Matrix and movies, it is still a very new experience for him. The most important thing is that because of his proficient computer skills, he can now understand various command characters and languages. Something new and interesting always makes people enjoy it. At 7:30 in the evening, a phone call interrupted Kurosawa's research. This is a voice call made by Runa Igarashi through Line. It is similar to WeChat voice call. It is very convenient. The key is to save the phone bill. Many media want to interview you, are you available? After answering the phone, Igarashi Runa asked. Don't accept the interview. Kurosawa put one hand on the keyboard and held the phone in one hand. He thought for a while and then refused. Why, this is a good opportunity to take advantage of the situation. Igarashi Runa was puzzled by this. Keeping it mysterious is more attractive, and we'd better reduce unnecessary public activities. Last night's performance started too fast. Although becoming famous is a good thing, becoming famous too quickly can easily lead to being targeted, and we don't have enough foundation. Moreover, we also have there's a lot to prepare for. Kurosawa Hikaru felt that it was necessary to stay quiet for a while. Now the name 0 Hour is at its peak, standing on the cusp of the storm. If you act rashly, you will be in trouble once exposed. You're right, so are we going to release a video in the near future? It's the recorded song Flight of the Bumblebee. Igarashi Runa thought for a while, agreed, and then asked for his opinion. Maybe she has rich experience as a gold medal agent, but she feels that although Kurosawa Hikaru doesn't understand the rules of the entertainment industry, he is very capable and has a flexible mind, and he always has some fantastic ideas. We'll discuss it in detail next time we meet after my summer vacation. Okay, but I may not have a chance to meet you recently, the media is starting to focus on me. If I meet you, it will be easy to be discovered. Are you being followed? It's not a big problem. I don't do anything shameful anyway, but my movements will be limited. Have you ever encountered this kind of situation before? Kurosawa frowned and asked. Although he doesn't have to meet Miss Runa and can discuss things over the phone, being followed is a problem that must be solved. Yes, but not many, because Huansing firm is still a relatively high-end firm in the industry. It has relationships and business dealings with various media, and its security team is also very strong. How can this situation be improved? Achieve business cooperation with various media, such as regularly breaking news and providing information, leaking the news to them. Generally speaking, it is a win-win situation, because they can sometimes help you with publicity. I hope you will accept interviews, and also for this reason, I want to turn passivity into initiative. Can cooperation with the media help avoid being followed? That's not the case. It just mitigates the situation. The key is context. Background. Kurosawa Hikaru was thoughtful when he heard this statement. For example, the chairman of Huansing is a well-known senior figure in the industry. His juniors, students, and descendants work in various media, and they have made friends with many senior executives and have a wide network of contacts. It is because of this relationship that Huansing's artists are quite free in their daily activities. Will Rika Fujiwara be followed? She is Huansing's signature cash cow. Even if the major media take pictures, they are at most asking for money from Huansing privately. As long as she pays a little attention to the candid photos taken by fans and passers-by about her usual actions, she will be fine. If you want to completely avoid being exposed, do you have to rely on background and money? It can be said that in Neon, as long as you are rich enough or have power, you don't have to worry about bad artists. We just have to endure it for a while, and when our firm's business is fully launched, we can make money. After I get the money, I can settle this. Igarashi Runa affirmed. Hearing this, Kurosawa Hikaru fell into deep thought. Neon is a capitalist society. Money, power, and influence can go sideways if one of the three is present. This is the same as in Western countries. For example, for big shots, even if they have bad deeds, as long as they are rich enough, they don't have to worry about scandals. As long as it is not a crime and is merely a moral act, it will be condemnable at most but not fatal at all. Don't worry too much about being followed, I will find a way. Igarashi Runa noticed his silence and thought he cared about it, so he comforted him. You just said background, what does it mean to have a background? Kurosawa Hikaru wanted to solve this problem as soon as possible, so he thought about it and asked. Well, to put it simply, if we cooperated with a large company like Kawaiko Limited last night, and it was such a sky-high contract, with a mutual chain of interests, they would help protect your reputation. Like today's, if the situation arises, they will also communicate with the media. Are there any other cases? The father of the boss of Kungsing office seems to be a high-ranking official. The major media will give him a bit of a thumbs down and not dare to be too presumptuous. Like. I don't know which senior official it is, but the executives of the big media should know. Wait a minute, I'm going to make a call. Kurosawa Hikaru thought about it for a long time and then made up his mind. Okay, I'm at home now, I'm not in a hurry. Realizing that he was temporarily busy, Igarashi Runa didn't care. After hanging up the phone, Kurosawa Hikaru took the phone and opened the address book. He quickly found a name, Sato Shinichi. Ha ha ha, good evening, Kurosawa brother. When the call was connected, Sato Shinichi laughed happily. Brother Shinichi, good evening. Hearing his hearty laughter, Kurosawa Hikaru also smiled. You called me suddenly so late. Are you in any trouble? After Sato Shinichi smiled, he went straight to the topic without being polite. Brother Kurosawa didn't contact him on weekdays. Now that he called suddenly, something must have happened. We are indeed in trouble. Realizing that he noticed it, Kurosawa Hikaru thought for a while and nodded. Just say, you're welcome. If you are in trouble, brother, I will definitely help. Do you know about 0 Hour? The piano master who made his debut last night. Although he is an antique, Shinichi Sato still pays close attention to the news so as not to be left behind by the times. My friend is a part-time agent and is now being followed by various media. You don't want her to be followed. Right. It's easy to say hello to the media, but it will affect their interests. If you can't do it, it's best not to do it. You also know that the name 0 Hour is very loud, and the major media will definitely smell like meat. She pounces on her like a dog, trying to get the first-hand news. If you are just friends with her, there is no need to interfere in this kind of thing. When Sato Shinichi heard this, he explained with some embarrassment. He is willing to help Brother Kurosawa, but Brother Kurosawa's friends, this relationship is a bit far away. Not only is he a friend, but he is also my partner. The firm that Master 0 Hour is currently contracting with is a partnership between me and others. Kurosawa Hikaru realized his concerns, thought about it, and made it clear. It is normal to have such concerns. Although Brother Shinichi is very loyal and generous, it is inevitable that he would be reluctant to help his friends. Opening a firm as a partnership? What percentage of the equity do you hold? 4%. Did you really open a business? Real. Brother, you are really a person who does big things. You did such a big thing quietly, since it is the trouble you encountered when opening the company. Let me go and say hello. After learning about this, Sato Gen immediately changed his mind. After sighing with a smile, he agreed. Then please, brother, by the way, I forgot to ask which media outlets she is being followed by. Wait a moment. When Kurosawa Hikaru saw that he agreed, he immediately felt relieved. Then he remembered something and said, "It doesn't matter, I'll just find someone to handle it, and I'll notify the major media in place. Don't worry, no media will follow your partners privately tomorrow, and neither will Master 0 Hour. But if it's a public event, the media will still take action." Sato Shinichi didn't care at all, and explained with assurance. He was very familiar with this situation. After all, he had experienced it before and had dealt with it before. So simple, Kurosawa Hikaru was a little surprised when he heard this. In fact, he was treating a dead horse as a live doctor. He wanted to give it a try, but if it didn't work, he would ask Saifunji Yuan for help later. It's that simple, Sato Shinichi confirmed. Is the reputation of a bow master so strong? Kurosawa Hikaru felt very strange. From this point of view, Brother Shinichi is even more powerful than he imagined. Not only that, it seemed like a good choice for him to pursue the path of archery. If you open a dojo, you will be a teacher. If you recruit many disciples and have many connections, it will naturally happen. In short, no matter what trouble you encounter, as long as it is your business, feel free to come to me. Sensing his surprise, Sato Shinichi felt a little complacent, and then warned him. I know, thank you brother. Kurosawa Hikaru learned how valuable his face was, and felt a little heartwarming after hearing this advice. You really need to thank me. Don't just come to the dojo on Sundays. Come to the dojo when the future is here. Come to my brother for tea more often. If it's not possible, just make a few more phone calls. Thank you for this, Sato Shinichi said quietly. After my summer vacation, I will definitely go when I have time. And you didn't even tell me when you started your business. If I brought people over to give you gifts on the day you opened your business, the major media would know you have a background and wouldn't dare to be as presumptuous as you are now. The office I open is very small, and I haven't held any activities like opening yet. I will do it next time. How did Kurosawa Hikaru know that he was so awesome before, but he became famous too quickly and caused trouble, so he thought of asking him for help and smiled. Don't forget to write a reply to your partner next time. Good. I wish you all the best in your career, as well as starting a business. Kyoto is the key. Don't neglect your job. New. It was naturally impossible for Kurosawa Hikaru to forget Kyoto, so he nodded in agreement. This chapter was updated due to the reward from the leader Jimmy. The boss is very generous. Tokyo's most affectionate. Author, Wodada Shuchu Wujin. Chapter 217. After talking to Shinichi Sato, Kurosawa Hikaru made a voice call to Igarashi Runa again. Did you finish the phone call? The fight is over. Who are you calling? Chizuru, Igarashi Runa was a little curious. To an old man from Kyoto. Oh. When she learned that it was Kyoto, Igarashi Runa immediately lost her enthusiasm for questioning. She was not very interested in such traditional and classical things. I asked him for help, and he said he would tell the major media. If nothing else happens, no media reporters will follow you starting tomorrow, and you will not be followed at odd hours in the future. Kurosawa Hikaru thought about it and explained it clearly to her. Really, Igarashi Runa couldn't help but care when she heard this and felt unbelievable. Kurosawa ran to make a phone call to find someone for help, and the tracking matter was solved. To be honest, as an industry insider, she doesn't quite believe the scenario. You'll know if you go out and take a look tomorrow. Regarding this, Kurosawa Hikaru has no guarantee, and we will find out tomorrow naturally. Good. Sensing his confidence, Igarashi Runa couldn't believe it, but she didn't doubt it too much and chose to believe him. After all, Kurosawa Hikaru seemed to her to be omnipotent and true to his word. He was not the kind of person who liked to talk big. How was your test today? Your grades shouldn't drop, right? You promised Kinzuru that it won't affect your studies. While looking forward to tomorrow, Igarashi Runa also teased. I did pretty well on the exam, and it didn't have much impact. That's fine. I have a lot of business cooperation calls today. When you are on summer vacation and are completely free, we can slowly choose from them. Igarashi Runa was very happy with her words. Although it was a bit annoying to be followed today, there was still a lot of good news, such as various endorsements coming to her door. However, we can't agree to this kind of thing yet. We have to wait until Kurosawa Hikaru is busy with the final exams and discuss it before making a decision. It's just the summer vacation, so I probably haven't had much time yet. Why? On August 10th, there will be a national university archery competition, and I will participate then. When mentioning this matter, Kurosawa Hikaru's tone became solemn. Next Wednesday is the archery competition, and the time is getting closer. He still has no idea what will happen on that day. The only thing he is certain of is that he can crush everyone with his archery skills. But Xiao Yuki, Miss Ninomiya, and Mirai Shifunjian, when the three of them come together, it is still unpredictable what kind of sparks will come out of the friction. Is the archery competition important? So serious? Igarashi Runa could feel the change in his tone through the phone, which was a little strange. This feeling of seriousness is very subtle, although Kurosawa was also very serious last night. When the archery competition was mentioned this time, it was as if there was a tough battle to be fought. It's very important, it's related to my life, Kurosawa confirmed. Is it so serious? Igarashi Runa was a little surprised. Right. Anyway, I'm not in a hurry. You should work first. You have a lot of summer vacation anyway. Igarashi Runa realized that he didn't intend to say it directly, so after thinking about it for a while, he didn't ask, and took the initiative to clear up his own affairs so as not to burden him. Okay, Kurosawa nodded. In fact, he really wanted to say that he hoped they could sit together and talk about endorsements during the summer vacation. After all, he had an uphill battle before that. If this tough battle is not handled well, the relationship between him and Miss Ninomiya may break down. If you have something on your mind, you can tell me, don't hold it back. I have a tight mouth and will never tell anyone. Sensing that he was in a strange state, he spoke less after mentioning the archery competition. After hesitation, Igarashi Runa made up his mind and plucked up the courage to speak. It's okay, thank you for your kindness. Kurosawa opened his mouth, wondering how to express his thoughts. After struggling for a while, he said. Some words cannot be said. If he could really tell the truth, he wouldn't need to tell Miss Runa and just have a showdown with Miss Yuki-chan and Miss Ninomiya, then the results would be immediate. Okay, you should be busy first, take the exam well, and go to bed early. Good night. Not being able to hear him express his feelings, Igarashi Runa was a little disappointed, but she didn't get hung up on it. Good night. Kurosawa Hikaru nodded, feeling a little complicated and not in the mood to chat anymore. After hanging up the phone, Kurosawa put the phone on the table, leaned weakly on the back of the chair, and looked at the ceiling. Next Wednesday is the archery competition. Is there another week left? As the date approached, Kurosawa Hikaru's mood was very complicated. There was expectation, but more importantly, he was depressed and uneasy. He could feel that this archery competition would definitely be the biggest problem in his life, and the outcome would bring a huge turning point in his life. That huge turning point was no less than a system awakening. The awakening and emergence of the system changed his original life trajectory. Because the system can detect that others have a crush on him and want to date him, and can trigger tasks. In just 1 month, he dated Ichino's Yuki, Ninomiya Chizuru, and Shifunjin Mirai respectively, and established an inseparable bond. During this period, he gained a lot, which can be said to be a double harvest in career and love, and he began to reach the peak of his life. However, the system did not give him the ability to do whatever he wanted and be invincible in the world. He did not reach the sky in one step. There were still problems to face before reaching the top. On August 10, the archery competition was the problem he had to face. In fact, even if it is a perfect level exclusive mission, it will not appear again if it fails. He can actually choose not to do such a rare mission. But he also knew very well that he could escape once, but not for a lifetime. He was dating 3 girls at the same time, and this matter would be exposed sooner or later. He must face this problem and make a choice. Ding dong. After thinking for a long time, the cell phone on the table suddenly rang. Hearing this voice, Kurosawa Hikaru came to his senses, reached for his phone and took a look. It was a message from Xiao Yuki. Brother Guang, do your best for the exam. Behind this information, there is also a photo. That was a selfie of Xiao Yuki, giving him a thumbs up, smiling brightly, very cute. Obviously, she didn't dare to disturb her by sending messages or making video calls, so she came up with this idea. Thank you for the encouragement, it's very cute. Seeing this message, Kurosawa Hikaru responded to her with one hand. He, is Brother Guang preparing for the exam? Get ready to take a shower and continue your review. Go ahead and don't worry about me. Good. Hopefully there will be a good outcome. After typing and chatting with her for a few words, Kurosawa's expression gradually returned to calm. He stood up and walked to the bathroom step by step. His steps were heavy because the archery competition was a heavy burden for him. Once it is revealed that he is a man of 3 boats, it is difficult to predict how Yuki and Ninomiya Chizuru will react. The best result is that they both turn a blind eye, acquiesce in each other's existence, and are neither close nor hostile. The worst result is that they are all disheartened by him and become strangers to each other from then on. No matter what, he had to face this problem. He always has a bright smile, full of energy, and his little Yuki is in his heart. Miss Ninomiya, who looks cold on the outside, can only reveal her true emotions in private, when no one can see her. Although she appears to be a super eldest lady, she is actually very afraid of being abandoned, which makes people feel pity for Mirai Saifunjin. Their appearances appeared in front of Kurosawa Hikaru's eyes. He really couldn't let go of any one of them, he could only have them all. Boom. On the other side, after hanging up the phone, Igarashi Runa, who was sitting on the small sofa, flicked his arm, threw the phone on the bed, took a few steps, and threw himself directly on the soft bed. Runa, you are really an asshole. Lying on the bed, Igarashi Runa took a pillow and covered the back of his head, feeling very depressed. This irritation was not because Kurosawa Hikaru was unwilling to tell her what was on his mind, but because she had the courage to ask. What made her feel most guilty was that in order to coax Kurosawa Hikaru to reveal her true feelings, she also promised that she would keep a tight mouth and would never tell anyone. Even if they were talking on the phone just now, Chizuru couldn't see or hear them, so there was no need to worry that Chizuru would be jealous, but she couldn't take any chances and wanted to have a closer interaction with Kurosawa. Now that the exam is over, I can go on summer vacation in a few days. The next evening, as the paper was handed in, Yuta Miyazaki stretched himself and felt relieved. After solving this exam, as long as you don't fail, you can rest assured during the summer vacation. Kurosawa, do you want to go to Shibuya together later? I'll treat you to dinner to celebrate the upcoming summer vacation. Yuta Miyazaki turned his head, looked at his desk mate, and said with a smile. I have something else to do, maybe next time. Kurosawa Hikaru was packing his things because school was over after the exam. I feel like you're not in a good mood today. Did you do poorly in the exam? Or did you have a fight with your girlfriend? Seeing that he had less expression than usual, Yuta Miyazaki couldn't help but feel a little worried. In fact, he noticed this during the exam. Different from yesterday, Kurosawa looked strange today, and he didn't know what was wrong. Do I look bad? Kurosawa Hikaru was stunned when he heard this and asked. You talked very little today, and you didn't smile either. You were never like this before. Yuta Miyazaki nodded and said firmly. It was precisely because they were together so often that he could see that Kurosawa was much more taciturn than usual today. And there's this thing. Kurosawa Hikaru was a little surprised, he didn't expect that he would be like this inadvertently. It seemed that the archery competition was approaching, which put more pressure on him than he expected. It's okay. It's mainly the exam. I've been thinking about how to do the questions. Then, Kurosawa Hikaru explained with a smile. That's good. Seeing him say this, Miyazaki Yuta thought about it and felt relieved. At this moment, a person walked in outside the classroom. With blue hair and blue eyes, wearing an OL uniform and black pantyhose, with a cold and dignified aura, she was clearly Ninomiya Chizuru. Kurosawa, come here with me. After walking into the classroom, she looked around, and finally landed on Kurosawa Hikari and spoke. Today's third and fourth update is here. It was originally scheduled for 1 p.m., but it took longer than expected to write. Sorry. Also, this chapter is an extra update for 3,600 monthly votes. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Tokyo's Most Affectionate. Author, Wodada Shuchu Wujin. Chapter 218. At this summons, Kurosawa Hikaru and Miyazaki Yuta looked at each other. As the latter waved, indicating that he should go quickly, Kurosawa Hikaru adjusted his state in his mind, picked up his school bag and walked over. Two people were walking in the corridor of the teaching building, one behind the other. Although no matter where he goes, he will be looked at twice, but no one thinks much about it. Not long after, they entered the student guidance room together. What's wrong? After closing the door smoothly and being separated from the outside, Kurosawa Hikaru felt strange. Ever since they went to the amusement park together, she had been trying her best to keep a distance from herself at school so as not to let anyone notice. Especially after they went to Asira Valley together, she didn't even look at him twice on Monday, for fear of being noticed by others. Like this, calling him over directly can be said to be a relatively abnormal behavior. You would definitely do this if you have something very important to do. In response to this question, Ninomiya Chizuru did not say anything, but walked to the table in the room and sat down. She has a very good figure. Although she is not a particularly hot type, she is tall and slender. Her long legs are wrapped in black stockings and have beautiful lines. Sit. As she sat down, she pushed her long hair behind her back, stared at Kurosawa Hikari with her blue eyes, and spoke very briefly. Hearing this request, Kurosawa Hikaru, who was standing by the door, looked at her calm and composed face and felt a little guilty, but he still walked over to face her and sat down across a table. This student guidance room is very simple, except for a table, a few chairs, and a bookcase standing on the side. Looking at her beautiful and pleasing face, Kurosawa Hikari, who was already feeling pressured by the archery competition, felt a little guilty in his heart. Could it be that she discovered that I was dating 3 girls at the same time? It doesn't make sense. It's final exams these days and she's very busy. Even though she and Yuki-chan went to the Tokyo Bunka-kaikan on Monday night, her tone and attitude didn't show anything wrong when they called her that night. Was it yesterday? I got lost and went to the Ministry of Culture, and this matter reached her ears. In a relationship of similar age and opposite sex, as long as a boy and a girl sit face to face, there is usually only one situation, and that is their heartbeat speeds up. Whether it is a pounding heart or a feeling of guilt, it will cause the heartbeat to accelerate. It is no exaggeration to say that in most relationships between men and women, boys usually do bad things. The final exam is over. After a long silence, Ninomiya Chizuru took the initiative to speak. Yes. Kurosawa Hikaru couldn't understand her inner thoughts, nodded, and decided to remain unchanged in the face of changes. What I said is like you have finished the matter, and now you don't need to worry about what I say will affect you. I heard from Runa that you rejected Kawaii's sky-high contract, Ninomiya Chizuru asked again. Right. Kurosawa Hikaru felt relieved and realized that it was not related to other girls, and he immediately felt relieved. Why refuse on the spot? A contract of this level can directly make you one of the world's top pianists. 10 billion in 2 years. If you sign it, you will get at least several billion, whether it is your career or your career the office will take off. How can we make such a hasty decision? Although he was relaxed, Ninomiya Chizuru's attitude was not relaxed and her tone was serious. Every decision I make is serious and never hasty. You don't hesitate to talk to me at school just to talk about this matter? Do you want me to take back my previous decision and agree to this contract? Sensing her attitude of hating iron but not steel, Kurosawa Hikaru didn't feel guilty and asked. Kawaii's sky-high contract, of course he knows its value. To put it bluntly, as long as he signs that contract, he can even drop out of school on the spot and no longer need to be a student at Dongda. Because as long as he fully fulfills this contract, he can directly transform into a rich man with a net worth of billions in 2 years, although it is only yen. Moreover, during the 2 years of the contract, he can make money in many ways, and it is possible to earn tens of billions of yen. He only needs to work for 2 years to achieve financial freedom. As long as he does not spend extravagantly, he will be able to sleep peacefully in this life. It's just that he can't just be a pianist for the money. He has many things to do. I don't want you to take back your decision. If you don't want to sign, I won't force you to sign the contract, it's just that I don't want you to refuse such a contract because of me. Seeing his strong rhetorical question, Ninomiya Chizuru shook her head. After explaining, her tone suddenly dropped an octave, and she whispered in a somewhat embarrassed voice. Hearing this, Kurosawa Hikaru couldn't help but have a big question mark appear in his mind. Refuse such a contract for her? What's happening here? The reason why he refused the contract was simple. He simply didn't have that much time to perform 120 concerts in 2 years and fly around the world. Even if you can't use the Steinway piano in the office to perform, I won't mind. You really don't need to reject other piano manufacturers' willingness to cooperate just because I gave you a Steinway. Ninomiya Chizuru's face felt a little hot, but she still said seriously. To be honest, she was very touched by this incident, but as an adult, she should think more rationally instead of acting on impulse. Did Ms. Runa lie about military information? Seeing this scene, Kurosawa Hikaru was stunned. If he still couldn't understand the situation, his life would have been in vain. Obviously, there is an information gap between the two of them. Igarashi Runa should have been the reason for his rejection, but she never took the time to adapt it to the fact that he was giving the Steinway piano as a gift to Miss Ninomiya, and resolutely refused the tens of billions contract. It was for this reason that Miss Ninomiya wanted to talk to him at school, even at the risk of being suspected. After all, this matter is too big. 10 billion contracts are no joke. Looking around the world, they are the top endorsements. Kurosawa, I don't mean to blame you. I'm actually very happy that you value my gift so much, but can you discuss it with me before you make a decision next time? Seeing that he remained silent, Ninomiya Chizuru thought that he felt that his good intentions had been betrayed, so he became angry, and also supplemented and explained. Okay, I'll definitely discuss this with you next time. Kurosawa Hikaru found that she completely accepted this statement, and after thinking about it, he decided not to explain so much. It's good just like this. Compared with him taking no time to refuse, it's not a bad thing to let her think that the rejection is because of her. Well, and I. Seeing that he agreed, Ninomiya Chizuru nodded with satisfaction, and immediately wanted to continue talking. However, as soon as the words came to his lips, they were taken back. What else? Kurosawa Hikaru found that she had taken back her words mid-sentence, which made him feel a little depressed. Also, I think the scandal between you and Runa needs to be clarified. Ninomiya Chizuru said after hesitating. Don't you want this rumor to continue until graduation? This way it won't affect my studies. Hearing this decision, Kurosawa Hikaru was a little surprised. It will be at least 2.5 years until he graduates from college. If this is clarified and he has been in love again, won't she be afraid that she will be targeted by her junior schoolmates? Runa said she has been followed since yesterday. After that, she should receive more attention. It's fine just within the school, but if it spreads outside the school, it will have an impact on her reputation. Ninomiya Chizuru nodded slightly and explained. Although it is in her interests, in the opinion of the alumni, Kurosawa Hikaru has a girlfriend, which can effectively prevent him from being pursued by girls. But from Runa's point of view, it has a great impact on her life. After all, a person's reputation is very important. What's more, Runa is no longer just an ordinary agent. She has become a boss. As 0 Hour becomes famous, as 0 Hour's acting spokesperson, it is only a matter of time before she becomes a big celebrity. Will it affect her reputation? For example, people think that she is keeping a college student, something like that, which will affect her falling in love and getting married. Didn't you say she has a boyfriend? Kurosawa Hikaru said deliberately after hearing this. After hearing this, Ninomiya Chizuru looked at him speechlessly and complainingly. This guy already knew this was false, and he deliberately used it to make fun of himself. It was so bad. She said that because she knew Runa was beautiful and charming, and to prevent him from falling in love with her best friend. Ha ha ha, let me clarify. Seeing that she was a little unhappy and staring at him silently, Kurosawa smiled without making fun of her. Although I want to clarify, how can I clarify it? It's easy to start a rumor. Everyone can misunderstand me when they see Miss Runa picking me up at the school gate and greeting me warmly, but it's not that simple to resolve the misunderstanding. Although he agreed, Kurosawa Hikaru still had a headache. What is he going to do? Publish a statement in a newspaper? Leave this matter to me. Regarding this matter, Ninomiya Chizuru had already thought of a solution. As a smart person, she had already thought of a solution when she decided to indulge the rumors. If you explain publicly, you will say that the investigation has been clear. I hope people will stop spreading such rumors. Realizing that she was going to take action, Kurosawa Hikaru thought about it and immediately had a direction. Unlike him, a student, Miss Ninomiya still has a relatively large say in the school. Almost, this is the direction. This rumor can be solved before the summer vacation. Ninomiya Chizuru nodded. What on earth is what she didn't finish saying just now? After deciding the matter, Kurosawa Hikaru couldn't help but feel doubtful when he saw her impatient attitude to unravel the rumors. To be honest, he always felt that Miss Ninomiya didn't tell the whole story. The reason why she was hesitant to speak just now was probably not because of this matter, but because of another thing that she couldn't say out loud. After all, this matter is very simple. Once you figure it out, there is no need to hesitate. Tokyo's Most Affectionate. Author, Wodada Shuchu Wujin. Chapter 219. They chatted in the student guidance room for a while, but they didn't stay too long. They only talked about business and didn't chat. What's going on? As Kurosawa Hikaru walked out of the student guidance room, Miyazaki Yuta, who had been waiting outside, rushed up immediately. She asked about my situation, about my girlfriend and me. Seeing that his gossipy heart was burning as always, Kurosawa Hikaru thought for a while and said, "This guy likes to join in the fun, but because of this, he knows something about the various trends and things on campus. Are you forbidden to fall in love again?" Miyazaki Yuta was a little curious. "It's not that I'm forbidden to fall in love, it should be said that I asked clearly." Kurosawa Hikaru shook his head. This statement can't be implemented. While chatting with him, Kurosawa Hikaru also walked out of the school with him. Along the way, Miyazaki Yuta also made jokes, talking about various interesting things, trying every way to make him happy and laugh, as if he wanted to cheer him up. Sensing this intention, Kurosawa Hikaru was also laughing. Although he was depressed when he was alone, he had just talked with Ninomiya Chizuru alone for a while, and his mood was much better. Soon, they walked to the school gate. "Your girlfriend is here to pick you up again. You said you were busy, and you really want to be with your girlfriend." Arriving at the school gate, Miyazaki Yuta saw a luxury car parked not far away, so he poked Kurosawa Hikaru's waist with his elbow and reminded him. "See you tomorrow." Kurosawa Hikaru didn't explain too much to him, just nodded, and then walked over and waved goodbye to him. "See you tomorrow." Miyazaki Yuta didn't hesitate and nodded. Immediately, Kurosawa Hikaru took his school bag, walked to the luxury car, opened the passenger door directly, and sat in. Because the air conditioner was turned on, the car was very refreshing and comfortable. "Why are you here?" As he sat down, Kurosawa Hikaru looked at her with some surprise. Igarashi Runa wore a black hooded skirt with a lot of strings, and a beige vest underneath. She looked as fashionable and hot as ever, and even more sexy and eye-catching. Although the color difference arrangement of the clothes makes it easy for people to misunderstand what they can see, in fact, nothing can be seen. "Just as you said, no one is following me." Igarashi Runa was also a little excited about this doubt. She really didn't expect that being targeted by major media would be so easy to deal with. "Aren't you afraid that someone is following you?" "I went to various places today to circle around, and I can be sure that no one is following me." "That's fine." Realizing that she was still very alert, Kurosawa Hikaru was relieved immediately. In any case, it is best not to have too much relationship with Kurosawa Hikaru as zero time, so as not to be seen by others. Unlike Kyoto, piano artists are destined to be public figures, and even active in the media. "By the way, what kind of big shot is that Kyoto brother you know? He is so powerful." Igarashi Runa was very curious. "The archery guy that Kurosawa found last night was so skilled and powerful that he could make all the major mainstream and small media retreat." "Shinichi Sato, do you know him?" Kurosawa Mitsuru saw that he was curious, thought about it and reported a name. I haven't heard of it. Igarashi Runa paused after hearing this, and was very unfamiliar with it. The surname Sato is a common surname in Japan. Can I go to see him? And buy some gifts to thank him? Then Igarashi Runa said what was in his mind. For artists and agencies, whether or not there is a background is the key to rise. There are many reasons why it is so difficult to open an artist agency now. First of all, in this industry, major agencies have occupied most of the resources in the circle and have absolute voice. Even if you open an agency and are lucky enough to dig up a potential stock that can become popular, large agencies will either try every means to dig people or try to destroy you. No one is perfect, and no artist can guarantee that he will still perform well in daily life. Moreover, a person's growth is accompanied by countless stories. Even if you perform well now, they can also dig out your black history through investigation and expose it, and directly sink you. Do you want to meet him? He helped so much, I want to thank him formally. I will go to thank him later. Under normal circumstances, unless he is an acquaintance, you need to make an appointment in advance to meet him. Kurosawa Hikaru thought about it and still declined the matter. The Chasing Wind Dojo is where he and Shifunji will have a tryst in the future. Although he will not be there most of the time in the future, he still has to avoid others from entering. Is he really a very powerful big shot? Hearing this, Igarashi Runa was a little surprised. It should be, I don't know how powerful he is, just tracking this matter, he solved it with one phone call. Kurosawa Hikaru didn't have much concept about this. After all, although he had a good relationship with brother Shinichi, he didn't have much contact time in reality. Kurosawa, do you think he is a background of our firm? After learning that this matter was resolved with just one phone call, Igarashi Runa couldn't help swallowing and felt a little excited. Forget it, but it would be better if we disturb him less. Kurosawa nodded and warned just to be on the safe side. When asking someone for help, even if it is a small favor, it is a favor, let alone a big favor, and it is difficult to return a favor. I know this. I ask so many questions. I don't want to cause trouble to others. I'm just out of curiosity. Seeing that he had to remind himself, Igarashi Runa rolled her eyes at him. After graduating for so many years, she is very understanding of people and the world. She can avoid causing trouble to others and will never cause trouble. The reason why I want to confirm this is just to have some peace of mind. After all, having a backer is really reassuring. Miss Ninomiya just talked to me because of the tens of billions contract. Realizing that she was a little angry, Kurosawa simply changed the subject. As soon as these words came out, Igarashi Runa, who was still pretending to be angry, was stunned for a moment, and suddenly looked away feeling guilty. She naturally understands what a tens of billions contract is. Because she made a special call to Chizuru last night out of self-blame, trying to put in good words for Kurosawa Hikaru, hoping to quickly promote a relationship between the two of them. How is it going? Igarashi Runa felt a little unsure, not knowing what was going on. After all, in order to say good things to Kurosawa Hikaru, she even said that he gave up 10 billion for you. She was very touched and quite happy. Isn't this a great outcome? It's very good, but I hope you can inform me first before you lie about military information next time. If the secret is exposed, you will be embarrassed. This is not a bad thing, but Kurosawa Hikaru feels that it is necessary to communicate clearly with her. I know this truth, but I have informed you. At this request, Igarashi Runa was stunned for a moment and then said, When? Look at your line. I sent it to you early in the morning and told you about it. Okay, I have a test today and I didn't pay attention to my phone. Look at your phone. I made this very clear. No, I believe you. When Kurosawa Hikaru heard this request, he didn't dare to take out his mobile phone and look at it. He immediately said, "Just kidding." If he opens Line's interface in front of Ms. Runa, if she sees the note Yuki-chan, his secret will definitely be exposed on the spot. Even if he has a privacy screen, as long as Ms. Runa is not sticking close to him and sticking her head in front of him, she will not be able to see the contents of the screen and mobile phone. But if a person installs a privacy screen mobile phone film, it is easy to make people suspicious. After all, most people will not install this thing. That's fine. Seeing that he believed in her, Igarashi Runa nodded with satisfaction and looked at his mobile phone without persistence. After all, mobile phones are personal privacy, even more important than diaries. Did she tell you? In order to prevent her from paying attention to his mobile phone, Kurosawa Hikaru asked after thinking about it. Say what? It's just about clarifying rumors. Not yet. Why do you want to clarify this rumor? Igarashi Runa shook his head and suddenly couldn't figure it out. She said that you are my rumored girlfriend, which may affect your reputation and affect your future love and marriage. Kurosawa Hikaru also helped Ninomiya Chizuru to make this matter clear. Do you think so too? Hearing this reason, Igarashi Runa glanced at him and couldn't help but ask. She reminded me that it is indeed the case. If you let this rumor go unchecked, others will not dare to pursue you if they find out about it. Kurosawa Hikaru nodded matter-of-factly. Indeed, if this matter reaches the ears of my parents, it will be troublesome. Igarashi Runa's mood is a bit subtle, but she agrees with this point of view and reason. Don't be afraid of 10,000, just be afraid of what happens. Kurosawa Hikaru reminded her, and also reminded himself. Thinking about it carefully, if the news that Igarashi Runa was his rumored girlfriend reached Xiaoyuki's ears, it would be very troublesome. Before this, he didn't pay attention to this matter, maybe because he entered a blind spot in his thinking. Because Dongda University, as the first university in Nihon, has a very independent circle, what happens on campus is rarely reported outside the campus, and it is very mysterious. Usually the news that reaches outside the school is not a scandal, but rather positive news. It was impossible to spread the news about who a student was in love with, so he subconsciously ignored the possibility of exposure. But if you think about it seriously, if it reaches someone's ears, it will undoubtedly be very troublesome. It is already difficult to handle and end the archery competition when 3 girls are involved. If Igarashi Runa is added to the mix, he can directly play GG. The exam is over today, what are you going to do next? After talking about these things, Igarashi Runa also asked. Working on my thesis, waiting for the summer vacation, and the archery competition. Kurosawa Hikaru didn't hide anything from her, after all, his subsequent activities were all public. During this period, there were no private appointments. There was only one major event that he had to face, and that was the archery competition next Wednesday, August 10th. I won't talk to you about work matters for the time being. We'll talk about it after you're done. When Igarashi Runa saw him mention the Kyoto tournament, her eyes and expression became solemn. Just like last night, she hesitated but did not ask, but said, "Okay." Kurosawa Hikaru nodded, hoping that they would sit together and talk about work one day. 2 more chapters are here first, and there will be more chapters in the afternoon. In addition, the full subscription group has been opened. Thank you for your support. Tokyo's Most Affectionate. Author, Wodada Shuchu Wujin. Chapter 220. After sitting in the car and chatting for more than 10 minutes at the school gate, Kurosawa Hikaru was sent home directly by Igarashi Runa. Putting down his school bag, Kurosawa Hikaru stood in the entrance hall and looked at the empty home. After getting used to the hustle and bustle, you will feel lonely inside after being separated from others and returning home alone. After taking off his shoes and socks, putting on his slippers and going to the bathroom to wash his feet, Kurosawa walked to the sofa in the living room and sat down. He took out his cell phone, but there was no message. Xiaoyuki didn't dare to send him a message for the past 2 days, for fear of disturbing his exam. Realizing that he hadn't even chatted with her in the past 2 days, Kurosawa Hikaru immediately made a video call with her. The video was connected after a while, and Ichino's Yuki's face appeared on the phone screen. Different from usual at home, she is wearing hot girl makeup, which is false eyelashes, eyeshadow, and contact lenses, all complete, very delicate and gorgeous makeup. Brother Guang, have you finished the exam? As the video was connected, Yuki Ichino's asked happily. Her smile was bright, and she was very happy that Kurosawa Hikaru took the initiative to send a video invitation. Finish exam. Seeing her beautiful and sunny smile, Kurosawa's heart was healed. Kurosawa, good afternoon. At this moment, a vigorous and loud female voice rang from the phone. Is Lan here too? Good afternoon. Hearing this voice, Kurosawa Hikaru also recognized the other party's identity and responded with a smile. Kurosawa, when are you going to play with us? At this moment, Shianaoi's face also appeared within the range of the camera, and she asked curiously. I've been busy lately. I'll play with you when I have some free time. Okay, it's a deal. After getting his promise, Shianaoi was very happy to make the decision. It's a deal. Brother Guang, how long will you be busy? As they finished speaking, Ichino's Yuki blinked and asked. When the archery competition is over, I will be free. As soon as he said this, a systematic voice suddenly sounded in Kurosawa Hikaru's ears, new mission. Immediately afterwards, many lines of words appeared in front of his eyes. Date mission, summer time with Yuki Ichino's. Mission goal, go to the beach with her alone 5 minutes of heartwarming moments, let her kiss you in 3 different ways, take a photo that is unique to you. Mission duration, 480 hours, 20 days. Dating funds, entry-level massage, entry-level photography, entry-level swimming. Experience card. Mission rewards, entry-level massage, entry-level photography, entry-level swimming. Permanent. What are you doing? Hikaru Kurosawa asked after a cursory glance at the mission. Obviously, with the final exams over and summer vacation approaching, Xiaoyuki's mind is starting to get excited again, looking forward to the next formal date, not just a normal date like Sunday morning. We are playing tennis, Brother Guang, do you want to come? Yuki Ichino shook her phone. On the tennis court not far away, Akazuki, Hitomi Matsushita, and their boyfriends were playing 4-person tennis. I don't have time to go, I still have to do my thesis. Seeing the projects they were playing with, Kurosawa smiled. It doesn't matter, you go do your business first. You go ahead and play. Okay, bye. At this point, the video call ended. New mission. No longer talking to Xiaoyuki, Kurosawa Hikaru sat in front of the sofa and read the mission. System, what does 5 minutes of heartbeat time mean? After reading the mission objectives, Kurosawa Hikaru couldn't understand one of the requirements. Keep your heart pounding and your heart racing for 5 minutes, the system gave the answer. So tough. Kurosawa Hikaru was a little surprised. The feeling of heartbeat was very strange. If it could last for more than 10 seconds, it was considered a long time. 5 minutes was too long, right? However, before completing the mission goal, he first had to be able to ask Xiaoyuki to go to the beach together. After a stressful exam, relaxation comes immediately. The next day, in the literature department, where there are a lot of girls, we started talking about gossip. Have you heard? The beautiful sister who often comes to pick up Kurosawa-senpai at the school gate is not his girlfriend, just his sister. Really? In other words, Kurosawa-senpai is single now. It must be fake. I saw them holding hands closely together in ITO house before. Toyokawa Gongmei heard the news early in the morning and immediately denied it. But this matter is the result of Kurosawa-senpai talking to the school and hoping that the school can help clarify it. Seeing her disbelief, a girl also said, "I saw it last night. If you don't believe me, go to Slack and have a look." No way. Hearing this statement, Toyokawa Gongmei was a little surprised. Slack is one of the social software commonly used by Neon College students because the group functions are very complete, and functions such as event notifications, schedule surveys, and opinion acceptance are very convenient. This software is popular in universities across the country, and it is naturally applicable to Tokyo University. As soon as these words came out, some people who didn't know the situation took out their mobile phones to take a look. Sure enough, there was a notice issued by the school to clarify the rumors. Judging from the content of the notice, Kurosawa Hikaru, a second-year economics major, did come forward to clarify the matter and explained that the person was her sister. How so? Toyokawa Gongmei was surprised as she held her mobile phone. Such a notice may not be able to be delivered to every student, but the summer vacation officially ends on Saturday, and a few days are enough for those who are interested in Kurosawa Hikaru to find out about it. I'll just say it's true. Why didn't Kurosawa-senpai clarify it earlier and only clarified it today? And I clearly saw that something was wrong. Toyokawa Gongmei didn't understand this very much. As he thought and recalled what happened that day, he suddenly realized something. Although they were holding hands very intimately, they did not hold hands at first, but maintained a certain distance. It was only because she had heard rumors before and saw the handsome duo that she subconsciously thought they were Kurosawa-senpai's girlfriends. Thinking about it carefully, they are not very close. It is indeed possible to say that they are siblings. Have you actually clarified it? Why is that? Miki Bio sat in the classroom and heard everyone's discussion without using software to read it. He was not surprised by the truth of the matter. What he was confused about was the issue in another direction. In fact, she had doubts about Kurosawa-senpai having a girlfriend before. Because students' thoughts are very sensitive, there are often situations where they are caught in the dark. For example, if they see men and women from the same school walking together outside the school, they will spread the rumors and directly spread the rumors that they are a couple. The economics teaching building has the highest level of discussion on this matter. You know, Kurosawa Hikaru is a celebrity in the same field, and more people know him. Kurosawa, is that beautiful sister your girlfriend? As the best friend in school, Miyazaki Yoda doesn't need to guess and understand like others, but asks directly himself. You guess. Kurosawa Hikaru sat on his seat and smiled. Regarding this matter, Miss Ninomiya had a chat with him last night. In addition, he also video chatted with Xiaoyuki for more than 2 hours. I couldn't chat for several days, but I suppressed Xiaoyuki so much that I saved up a lot of things to say to him. Oh, just tell me. Seeing his mysterious look, Yoda Miyazaki felt like there were ants crawling all over his body, and he was so anxious that he died. When he came to school early in the morning, he heard everyone discussing whether this matter was true or false. Many people actually have an indifferent attitude towards this news, that is, they just chat about it. After all, whether others have girlfriends or not is not very important, it is just a topic. No. Now that Miss Ninomiya has taken action, he will naturally cooperate. What's more, he and Miss Runa were not a couple in the first place. Then I asked her before if she was your girlfriend, and you said yes again. Miyazaki Yoda was speechless when she saw him admit it. Because I think your reaction to admitting this is funny, Kurosawa Hikaru shrugged. This was really what he thought at first. The sudden appearance of a rumored girlfriend was a painless thing for him, and could even reduce a lot of unnecessary troubles. Wow, why didn't I realize you were so sinister before? Is that beautiful woman really your sister? Seeing what he said, Yoda Miyazaki held his chest, feeling a little heartbroken, and then asked curiously. It's more like a friend than a sister. Kurosawa Hikaru nodded and explained. His relationship with Ms. Runa was just that of a mere friend, and had nothing to do with lovers or siblings. You didn't clarify it earlier or later, but you only clarified it after going to the Ministry of Culture. Do you want to pursue Miki-senpai? Seeing that he didn't seem to be joking, Yuta Miyazaki suddenly remembered what happened on Tuesday, the first day of the exam. No, I'm not familiar with her. Kurosawa Hikaru shook his head. He and Miki-senpai had only met each other a few times, and their relationship was just like that. Then you asked me about Senior Miki that day, and why did you make a special trip to the Ministry of Culture? I told you a long time ago, I got lost that day. Do you think I will believe it? Miyazaki Yuta rolled his eyes, not believing his nonsense at all. If you don't believe it, I can't either. Kurosawa shrugged, not trying to convince him. It is very difficult to convince others, because for the same thing, there will definitely be deviations due to differences in concepts and experiences. Admittedly, he did go specifically to see Miki's schoolmate that day, but if he admitted it, it would definitely be very troublesome. Even if Miyazaki Yuta is not a loudspeaker and won't talk about him everywhere, if he thinks that he likes Miki Shiraha, he will definitely be pestered. While chatting, it was time for class. However, because the final exams have been taken, even though the summer vacation officially begins on Saturday, the courses have become very relaxed. There is no need to wait until 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon, just 3 o'clock in the afternoon, Thursday's class is over. It's rare that you don't have to work part-time today. Why don't we go shopping in Shibuya together? Summer vacation is about to start, and I want you to help me buy some clothes for reference. On the way out of school, Miyazaki Yuta also asked. Okay, I'll help you buy some cool ones and try to get you out of singles during the summer vacation. Kurosawa Hikaru thought it would be boring to go home too early, so he simply agreed. You won't be picked up by that beautiful sister again today, right? Finally, he agreed, and Miyazaki Yuta was a little worried. No. Kurosawa Hikaru shook his head. There was no work in the near future, so Miss Runa probably wouldn't come to pick him up. That's good. Getting this affirmation, Miyazaki Yuta was relieved. Hey, Miki Scholar. After walking side by side with him for a while, Miyazaki Yuta suddenly saw a figure at the school gate and was surprised. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Tokyo's Most Affectionate. Author, Wodada Shuchu Wujin. Chapter 221. The main entrance of the University of Tokyo is very low-key. There is no sign with the school name, only traffic signs. There is a main road and 2 side roads for entry and exit. Of course, the simple yet historical school gate has a presence that cannot be ignored. There is also a big tree planted next to the gate. Under the shade of the tree, a beautiful figure stands there, that is Miki Bayu. She has white hair like snow and delicate and beautiful facial features. She is wearing a white dress. She has a weak and slender figure. She is holding a handbag in her hand. It seems that a strong wind can blow her down, giving people a sense of the feeling of being vulnerable. She stood there waiting alone, very well behaved and quiet. This is really strange. Is she waiting for someone? Seeing Miki Bayu under the big tree, Yuta Miyazaki felt that it was rare and even more lucky. The University of Tokyo is very large, and students from different disciplines are usually rarely seen without special opportunities. Because the first-year junior student had only entered the University of Tokyo for half a year, so even though he had admired the name for a long time, he had not seen much of Miki-senpai. Not sure. Kurosawa Hikaru was also surprised. Because different subjects were at different distances from the school, people from each subject had different departure times. So far, this is the first time he has seen Miki Bayu at the school gate. At this moment, Kurosawa Hikaru spotted Miki Shiryu under the shade of a tree, raised his head and looked at him. Immediately afterwards, Miki Bayu took steps and trotted over. Seeing this scene, Miyazaki Yuta looked at Kurosawa Hikaru beside him, and then at Miki Shiryu who was running over. He hesitated to speak and wanted to curse. Obviously, the person Miki Senpai was waiting for at the school gate was Hikaru Kurosawa. Didn't she know him well? Kurosawa Senpai. The distance between them was not far. Miki Bayu ran in front of Kurosawa Hikaru and shouted. The sound was ethereal, soft, and like the sound of nature, but what Yuta Miyazaki heard was the sound of heartbreak, and he couldn't help but stare at Kurosawa Hikari. This lying bastard also said that he was not familiar with Miki's senior schoolmate and had no interest in her. Are you waiting for me? Kurosawa Hikaru really didn't expect that she was waiting for him, and was a little surprised. Can't you? Miki Bayu nodded and asked. This sentence has a bit of a coquettish flavor and is very touching, as if a younger sister is acting coquettishly to her older brother. It's not impossible. What's the matter? Kurosawa Hikaru paused and felt confused. Well. Before answering this question, Miki Bayu couldn't help but glance at Yuta Miyazaki beside him. I still have something to talk about. Sensing her gaze, Miyazaki Yuta was very sensible and ran away without saying a word. What are you doing running so fast? Aren't you going to Shibuya? Kurosawa Hikaru realized that he was running outside the school and quickly stopped him. Next time, I suddenly remembered that there is something else at home. In response to this dissuasion, Miyazaki Yuta ran away without looking back. When he reached the school gate, he did not forget to turn around and wink at Kurosawa Hikaru, giving him a wink, leaving the two of them a chance to be alone together. This guy. Seeing his smug eyes, Kurosawa Hikari really couldn't laugh or cry. Maybe he has clarified the rumors, but he is not single, there are still 3 girls who are still entangled with him. Let's go for a walk. The agreement to go to Shibuya together was broken, and now that it was over, Kurosawa decided to let things take their own course, so he asked. He had no intention of walking on campus. You must know that he had just clarified the rumors. If he was seen walking on campus with Miki Bayu, a new rumor would be born tonight. To be honest, just the fact that Miki Bayu was waiting for him, would be a problem if it reached Miss Ninamaya's ears. Okay, Miki Bayu nodded. After that, the two of them took steps towards the school gate together. Outside the gate of the University of Tokyo, although it is not as prosperous as places like Shibuya Shinjuku, there are still all kinds of shops. Thankfully Miss Runa didn't come. As he walked out of the school gate, Kurosawa didn't see the familiar luxury car and secretly breathed a sigh of relief. The two walked side by side, keeping less than half a meter apart, on the sidewalk. On this road, some students from Dongda University noticed them and looked sideways. Along the way, Miki Bayu looked at Kurosawa Hikaru beside him from time to time, raising his eyes to look at his handsome profile. Kurosawa-senpai, why did you clarify the rumors? After walking a few hundred meters like this, Miki Bayu finally couldn't hold himself back any longer and spoke. When the teacher asked, I clarified it. Kurosawa Hikaru realized that she was really doing this, and after a pause in his heart, he explained. That's it? It's been going on for half a month without any clarification. Miki Bayu was not very satisfied with this reason, and his heartbeat was a little accelerated. Although the final exam is over, everyone is not paying much attention to class and is not focused, but she is definitely the least focused person. Maybe it was unrealistic, but she couldn't help but wonder if Kurosawa-senpai went out of his way to clarify the rumors because he wanted to send a signal to her that he was single. Girls in the literature department are always more emotional, sensitive to some details, and have beautiful fantasies. The teacher didn't ask before because the final exam was approaching and she didn't want to ask about it, lest it affect my exam. It was impossible for Kurosawa Hikaru to tell the real reason. After all, he chose to let the rumors go ignored for the sake of Miss Ninomiya. I see. After hearing this answer, Miki Bayu thought for a while and nodded. Why did Kurosawa-senpai come to the literature club on Tuesday? Then, she remembered another thing and asked again. She had actually thought about this matter for a long time, but she never understood its meaning. Be lost. How could you be lost? You can do it, why can't I? Kurosawa said confidently. That's different. Even I won't get lost in Dongda. I will only get lost in unfamiliar places. Miki Bayu gave a somewhat embarrassed explanation to this statement, which was also to defend himself. On Monday night, didn't I send you to the road and then separate from you? I didn't send you to the station. Seeing that he couldn't fool her, Kurosawa thought for a while and decided to tell the truth. After I got home that night, I felt a little regretful after thinking about it. Even if I couldn't go with you, I should have watched you get in the car before leaving. Otherwise, if you met perverts and gangsters on the way, I would feel guilt. So you came to the literature department specifically to see if I was okay. Right. Kurosawa Hikaru nodded and admitted the matter generously. You've done it all, are you still afraid of admitting it? And what he did was nothing. Kurosawa-senpai has a strong sense of responsibility. After getting the answer from his own mouth, Miki Bayu raised a slight smile on his lips and praised. In fact, when they parted that night, Kurosawa-senpai watched her walk into the crowd before turning around and leaving with relief. She felt this way. This man is very warm, considerate, and attentive. Fortunately, I'm mainly worried about security issues. Kurosawa Hikaru shrugged and added a few words to prevent her from getting the wrong idea. Do you have any other questions? Finding that she was smiling and in a good mood, Kurosawa paused and changed the subject. One last question. Sensing that he wanted to leave, Miki Bayu thought for a while and said. What? Kurosawa Hikaru didn't look at her, but looked ahead. Kurosawa-senpai, do you have a girlfriend? Miki Bayu hesitated for a while, took a deep breath, and finally made up his mind. He turned his head and looked up at him, and asked the question he wanted to know most. Maybe it was very direct, but she felt that she needed this answer. As soon as these words came out, Kurosawa Hikaru stopped and looked at her subconsciously. In fact, when a girl asks you if you have a girlfriend, it is equivalent to a relatively subtle confession. On her beautiful and stunning face, with well-defined contours, her ice-cold and beautiful eyes were trembling with anticipation and nervousness. At the same time, many words appeared in front of Kurosawa Hikaru's eyes. Date mission, a trip to the skating rink with Miki Shiraha. Mission goal, meet at the skating rink, let her hold your hand and skate together, surprise her, let her kiss your face. Task duration, 720 hours, 1 month. Mission funds, entry-level skating, entry-level dance ballet, experience card. Mission rewards, entry-level skating, entry-level dance ballet, permanent. It is self-evident what the emergence of this mission indicates. Obviously, Miki Bayu, who asked this question, has a crush on him and wants to date him, and there are more stories. However, now that 3 girls are involved with him, he can't handle it anymore, and there can't be any more. What's more, the rewards for dating her are useless and not attractive at all. Reject her, let her quit before the story begins and the relationship has not progressed. Thoughts were swirling. Kurosawa Hikaru made up his mind, looked into her hopeful and nervous, slightly trembling beautiful eyes, and responded to her question. Have. After receiving this answer, Miki Bayu bit his lips and lowered his head. His sparkling beautiful eyes darkened and he was a little disappointed, and his heart fell to the bottom in an instant. That's right. How could a boy as outstanding as Kurosawa-senpai not have a girlfriend? I'm afraid the girls who pursue him would line up from the main entrance of Tokyo University to the Akemen side. Still not. Just when she was filled with disappointment, another sentence rang out. As soon as he said these words, Miki Bayu was shocked and suddenly raised his head, feeling extremely surprised. Kurosawa-senpai, you are such a bad guy. Seeing his face, Miki Bayu realized that he was being teased. Apart from being surprised, he couldn't help but feel a little embarrassed. A trip to the skating rink with Miki Shiraha mission progress update, surprise her, completed. Literally, I'm an asshole. Kurosawa Hikaru saw the progress prompted by the system, and also saw Miki Bayu's expression. From a pitiful, heart-wrenching loss, to a happy, joyful, and annoyed expression, he couldn't help but sigh. He has obviously thought it through, but now that he is entangled with 3 girls, it will be difficult to end it, and he cannot continue to add more people. He knew this and decided to refuse. As a result, when he saw that such a cute junior schoolmate, Miki Bayu, looked disappointed because of his rejection, he suddenly softened his heart and hurried to make amends, turning into the ambiguous answer now. 4 more chapters are here. More chapters for 3,900 and 4,200 monthly tickets. In addition, the full subscription group has been opened, and there is a channel to join the group on Kidian. Everyone is welcome to join the group. Tokyo's Most Affectionate. Author, Wodada Shuchu Wujin. Chapter 222. Not as bad as you said. Seeing him scolding her, Miki Shiraha shook her head. Although it was bad for Senior Kurosawa to tease her, he was not a jerk. It's difficult. Kurosawa Hikaru was relieved and had a headache when he found her laughing. Kurosawa Hikaru knew that he couldn't handle 3 people, but a 4th one came out. Is the beautiful girlfriend who had a scandal with you before really your sister? Seeing that he didn't speak, Miki Shiraha thought he was concerned about what he said just now, so he took the initiative to speak and change the subject. No. What is the relationship? Agent and partner. Kurosawa Hikaru found that she was like a curious baby, very curious, and said after thinking for a while. Unlike others, this junior sister knew that he was 0 hour, so it didn't hurt to talk about this level of question. As expected, he is an agent, partner. Is Senior Kurosawa starting a business? In fact, Miki Shiraha had guessed this answer a long time ago, and was not very surprised, but she also noticed another word. I guess so. We opened a firm together. That's amazing. Hearing this, Miki Bayu was a little surprised and admired him. Starting a business in college is not a new thing, but Kurosawa-senpai, as a master of zero time, has become a big celebrity. It can be said that he has successfully started a business. Kurosawa-senpai is too amazing. He can play the piano, start a business, and his academic performance is so good. I heard from Miyazaki that you are socially anxious and very shy. You always go alone in school. Seeing her admiring eyes, Kurosawa Hikaru felt a little proud and spoke to disrupt her rhythm. Although Miki-senpai is not a self-familiar person, she is not full of enthusiasm when they meet for the first time, and she is not as socially arrogant as she and Alan, but she is not likely to be socially anxious. I'm not shy, it's just that my interests and hobbies don't match everyone else's, and everyone doesn't like to make friends with me. Hearing this, Miki Bayu shook his head slightly and said in a relaxed tone. Are you so beautiful that you don't have any friends? Realizing that she actually wanted to make friends, but others didn't cooperate, Kurosawa Hikaru thought for a while and asked. Do you think I'm beautiful, Kurosawa-senpai? Miki Shiraha felt very subtle when she heard this, and asked after thinking. In fact, she didn't feel anything when others praised her for her beauty, because she had heard too many such comments since she was a child. But she was still very happy that Kurosawa-senpai could praise her for her beauty. In terms of appearance alone, you are very beautiful, like an elf from a fairy tale. Kurosawa Hikaru nodded slightly. This is an undeniable fact. This is too exaggerated. Although she asked such a question, Miki Shiraha was embarrassed to get such an answer. Her snow-white and delicate neck and ears were red, and she was also a little happy in her heart. Tell the truth. Embarrassment is contagious. Kurosawa Hikaru realized that his words made her shy, and she was also a little embarrassed and shrugged. Why only appearance? Besides being shy, Miki Bayo thought of his statement and was a little curious. Because a person's charm is divided into external beauty and internal beauty. External beauty, such as facial features, figure, temperament, and clothing, can be seen at a glance, but internal beauty is not so easy to see. Kurosawa Hikaru took a look at her beautiful profile and expressed his inner thoughts. Only in terms of appearance, he actually likes the type of Miki Jr. Behaved, quiet, pure, and her temperament is very special, probably because of her white hair, giving people a sense of extraordinary. The so-called extraordinary means that you are different from ordinary people. In the crowd, you are destined to stand out from the crowd and feel different. There should be many beautiful girls around Kurosawa Sr., right? Miki Bayo felt a little strange when he heard such a statement, and then asked after thinking about it. Why do you say that? Kurosawa Hikaru could understand the meaning of the sentence, but he couldn't figure out the basis for Miki Bayo to draw this conclusion. Because you look at people not only on the outside, but also on the inside, and consider more, just like you have seen many beautiful girls. Most people only look at the outside, and don't care about the inner beauty at all. Miki Bayo smiled and explained. In fact, she didn't say another reason, that is, the way Kurosawa Sr. gets along with her, and the way he looks at her, is fundamentally different from other boys. When they first met in the photography shop, although Kurosawa Sr. subconsciously took a sneak shot of her, he was obviously attracted by her appearance and the lens, but he was not fascinated, just admiring. In addition, when Kurosawa Sr. got along with her, he was polite and stopped at the right time. The sense of distance was very subtle, that is, he was attentive if he took a step forward, and indifferent if he took a step back. From these two things alone, it is not difficult to see that Kurosawa Sr. is definitely used to getting along with beautiful girls. Even more, he should have dated girls who are very beautiful but have poor character, so he would have the idea of looking at people not only on the outside, but also on the inside. Are you so smart? You can guess this kind of thing from a few words. Kurosawa Hikaru was stunned when he heard this, and couldn't help but sigh in amazement. Does Senior Kurosawa think I'm stupid? Seeing his surprised face, Miki Bayo couldn't help but say. One thing, after all, he is a person who can get lost. Oh, did I guess right? Yes, but there is no reward. Kurosawa Hikaru thought about it and did not deny it. In fact, if it was a month ago, if he had met Miki schoolgirl at that time, he would never consider inner beauty. It doesn't matter. Miki Bayo didn't care much about it. I know why you have no friends. Looking at her expression, Kurosawa Hikaru thought about it and suddenly said. Why? You don't like lying. What does having no friends have to do with this? Miki Bayo was puzzled. In fact, everyone lies, even every day. In interpersonal communication, in order to read the atmosphere and get along with the group, many people will hide their dissatisfaction and thoughts in their hearts and compromise. Kurosawa Hikaru saw that she didn't understand, smiled, and explained to her. This phenomenon of compromise is particularly serious in Japan. Because Japanese people have a unique culture, that is, to look at the atmosphere, that is, try not to do things that destroy the atmosphere, and pursue consistency with others. Do you think I can't read the atmosphere? After hearing this, Shiraha Miki thought about it and was puzzled. Yes, and no, you are very honest with yourself. You have a clear understanding and pursuit of what you want and what you don't want. Even if you feel embarrassed, you will do it bravely. Kurosawa Hikaru shook his head slightly and added, yes, this junior sister is very honest with herself. This may be her uniqueness. Honest to yourself. It was the first time that Shiraha Miki heard such a view and evaluation. It was a bit strange and thoughtful. Do you remember the first time we met in the photography shop? After you realized that I was your senior and found out that I could take pictures, even if it was the first time we met, you asked me to help you choose even if you were embarrassed, and finally asked me for photos. Seeing that she was still not aware of it, Hikaru Kurosawa reminded her. Oh. Hearing this, Shiraha Miki vaguely felt something. And that night, I made a hypothesis that I was not 0 hour, and you shook your head frantically to deny it, and you were very resistant to this possibility. Senior Kurosawa is really amazing, I didn't even notice this. At this point, Miki Bio suddenly realized and looked at him with some surprise and admiration. They had only known each other for such a short time, but he actually saw the essence of his character that he hadn't noticed. In fact, I didn't notice it before. The key is that you were waiting for me at the school gate today, and coupled with the conversation just now, I noticed this. Kurosawa Hikaru was praised by her, and he felt a sense of floating in his heart. In fact, he was just thinking, why is Miki Bio so brave? He just clarified the rumor, and he ran over to block the road, and even dared to ask, do you have a girlfriend? This is a question that is easy to misunderstand and seems like a half confession. If it were an ordinary person, he would never do such a thing, unless this person is very honest with himself, knows what he wants and what he doesn't want, and will decisively pursue it. I see. Miki Bio seemed to have discovered a new world, recalling his past behaviors, and seemed to have realized something. On Monday night, her friend and her boyfriend left early. She knew she was beautiful and it was normal for others to be cautious about her, so she didn't care, and it didn't matter if she went home alone. Tokyo University students are obsessed with their studies and are not interested in figure skating. Their interests don't match, so she doesn't want to make friends with everyone at school. Over time, people feel that she is shy and socially anxious. But in fact, she is a figure skating student and has performed on stage many times. If she is socially anxious, how can she perform on a big stage? Be honest with yourself. After discovering her situation, Kurosawa Hikaru was also thoughtful and understood. Knowing others is wise, but knowing oneself is the most important thing for a person, and it is difficult to know oneself. He was able to see Miki Bio's character so easily, not for no reason, but because he had been burdened by the Kyoto competition recently, and he had been worried and couldn't face it calmly, and he was very conflicted. He knew that he was a playboy, but he never faced it honestly. What did he want? What didn't he want? What he wants is to have them all, leaving no one behind. What he doesn't want is to be alone with a girl, make others sad, and finally watch the woman he once loved and liked marry someone else and start a family with regret. Since he has made up his mind to have them all and is going to be a playboy, why is he still refusing to admit it? As this thought came up, Kurosawa Hikaru's eyes became calm, and the expression on his face relaxed. He let out a long breath, which was the depressed air suppressed in his heart. What's wrong? Miki Bio heard his deep breath and reacted from his memories, so he asked curiously. It's okay, it's not a good idea to just leave like this. Do you want to have a drink? Kurosawa Hikaru shook his head slightly, lowered his eyes and looked at her with a smile on his lips. Okay, but I'm still 19 years old and can't drink yet. Hearing this invitation, Miki Bio nodded and reminded. Here's the first update, and there will be updates in the afternoon. The weather has been cold recently, and I woke up late. I had planned to finish writing Basic 2 in the morning, but my uncle called to urge me to go to the full moon party for his grandson.